Hey, this is Jerry Fetta, owner, founder, and CEO of the Wealth Dynamics brand. It is Fitness Friday, so I've got a video for you today on fitness. I want to talk about how do you gain muscle while minimally gaining fat, right? That's something that if you're a man or a woman, we'll talk about both of those, right? A lot of the women are going to be worried that they're going to turn into Arnold Schwarzenegger. We're going to address that today in this video. And then the guys, I want to make sure we talk about how do we do this without getting a dad bod. I don't want you to gain a bunch of muscle and then have to lose 30 pounds and lose all the muscle you just gained, right? And then at the very end of this video, I'm going to let you know what I do from a supplement standpoint to build muscle, to add muscle, and it's going to give you a little bit of an edge on your results, right? It's something that if you do the right stuff and also add this supplement, it's going to help you out quite a bit with your progress, whether you're a man or whether you're a woman. So without any more delay, let's get into today's video. All right, guys, Fitness Friday, Jerry here. So I want to talk about gaining muscle, right? So the first part of this is if you're a man, this is something you should strive for, right? You want to have lean muscle tissue, right? Your body's going to be made up of, you've got skin, okay, your epidermis, right? You've got fat, okay, that's, fatty tissue. You've also then got bones and ligaments and joints. You've got a bunch of water and a bunch of blood. And the other thing you've got is muscle, okay? So you're not gonna be able to grow more bones. Like if you're an adult, you're pretty much done on the bones thing. Okay, you're not gonna be able to add more water to your body. Like your body's gonna maintain what it maintains. Same thing with, your blood. You can't add more joints and ligaments. So if you wanna gain weight or lose weight or look better, it comes down to two things. How much body fat do you have and how much muscle do you have, okay? There's no other way to do this game. So most of us, if we see someone, let's say we see a picture of someone and they've got, abs and they're toned up and they look like they're healthy and we're like, man, that person looks good, maybe shirtless or they look good in a swimsuit and that's how I'd like to look. The reason why they look that way is they added muscle and they got rid of body fat. That's it. There's no other magic thing that happens there. They didn't do anything special other than they added muscle and got rid of body fat, okay? Now, the way that you do this is through training and nutrition. Those are your two different things, training and nutrition. The little third one behind you is supplementation, but supplementation is in addition to supplement something, is to add to something that already exists. So if I'm not doing training and nutrition, supplements ain't gonna do jack for me, okay? So let's say I'm a guy and I'm like, okay, I wanna look like, I've got a six pack. I don't want to be, super giant. Well, good. So what I want you to do is I want you to start adding muscle. Add the muscle first, okay? The mistake most people make is they actually try and trim the fat first. They go on a starvation diet or they start drinking weird shakes and concoctions or taking, special cleanses and fasts thinking that that's going to somehow help them. Guys, if you did a cleanse or a fast and you lost weight, it meant you were full of shit. That's what it meant, right? And the cleanse was too. You're just gonna build it back up again as you keep on eating the things you ate before the cleanse that led you to that condition. For 2 weeks, you're gonna feel really good and then you're gonna be back to where you were. So you have to change the nutrition. This is the one that nobody wants to confront. It's nutrition and working out. You need to have the self-discipline to go to the gym every day for 30 minutes or more. If you can't do that, it's not gonna happen. You need to have the discipline, just like with your finances, to pay attention where your money goes. Pay attention to what you put in your mouth. Okay, I'm not asking for a lot here. I'm telling you, if you're gonna put it in your mouth, know what it was, right? Pay attention to it. Understand, what did I just eat? Like that separates men from dogs, right? If I'm not doing that, I'm at the same level as a dog where it's like, you don't know what they just ate. They don't either, they don't really care. They just wanted to put something in their mouth, so they did, okay? So we've got to get over this, and it is discipline. A disciplined life leads to success. If I'm a guy and I want to, look like I'm in great shape, I need to go to the gym every day for at least 30 minutes. I need to train with weights. I should do cardio 1 to 2 times a week, and I can make it fun. I saw a brilliant video, by the way, as a personal trainer talking about one of the most highly demanding caloric exercises is tennis, right? Like you burn a ton of calories playing tennis, but the tennis players don't feel like they're doing cardio, they're playing. So you could take someone and put them on a Stairmaster or a treadmill or have them go running, and for them to burn the same amount of calories, they're definitely gonna feel like they're doing cardio. They're like, man, this is a grind. This is a lot of work. Okay, so on the cardio thing, find a game you like. Do you like to go biking? Do you like to play basketball? Do you like to swim? Do you like to play tennis? And if you can make it a game, you won't think that you're doing exercise. You're doing something you already enjoy that's building, it's not really building, I guess it's cardio. It's building your heart rate is what it's building. It's burning some calories and it's putting you better in better cardio condition. Okay, same thing with the weight training. Make that a game. Pay attention to what your lifts are. Pay attention to your form. Pay attention to, what your weights were last time and try and beat those by a little bit by maintaining good form still. Right? Like pay attention to all those things and be consistent with it. You don't need to go every single day, but if you can do this 4 or 5 times a week, okay, like more than 50% of the time, this is the trick of life. You just have to win more than you lose by greater than 50% of the time. If I win 51% of the time and lose 49% of the time, I'm still winning, right? If you go to the gym more than you don't, you're still winning, right? If you pay attention to your calories more often than you don't, you're still winning. It's better than not, right? So that's on the gym side of things. Like make that a game, make it something you enjoy. And if you do it correctly, you're actually gonna feel great after. Okay, I've been doing the gym thing since I was in high school. I've been a personal trainer. I still help people with workouts here and there today. And when a new person goes in the gym, the first couple of weeks, they're like, that's where they need the most help. They're like, I don't know what to do. This all feels awkward. But once they start building muscle and they start feeling sore and they start feeling strong, that's the point where I can tell a person is hooked. Right? Because you're like, I didn't know I could do this. I didn't know I had this level of control over my body. So what you're doing in the gym is you're building the muscle through the gym and through the nutrition, right? So the nutrition is the other part. I'm now eating enough protein, carbs, fats, things we've talked about before. I'm getting the vitamins and the minerals and the fibers and the probiotics and the antioxidants and all the things that I need in my diet. Okay, and I'm doing that as much as I can from food, right? And this means that I do need to eat like I'm working out. Right, so if I'm just starting, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find out what's my maintenance calories, like how much do I eat in a day to maintain my current weight. I'm gonna keep it level there, and then I'm gonna add exercise. Okay, what I've done now is this is if I eat this much, I gain 0 weight, I lose 0 weight. Now I'm gonna add exercise, right? Depending on your body at that level, you're gonna see 1 of 2 things happen. You start gaining muscle and gaining weight, meaning your body's converting this food to fuel and actually building. And if this is like something you're brand new at, that's probably what you're gonna see at first. Or the second thing is you'll see my calories stayed the same. I added the exercise and I started losing weight, right? Now the problem with most systems is if you try and lose the weight first, you don't have anything good underneath, right? Like think about it like you're just gonna be skinny. You don't have the muscle, so the tone, people say I wanna be toned, that's actually muscle mass. Right, 6-packs, that's abs. You built muscles called abdominals and you did that from exercising your abs. Having, nice arms, that comes from doing exercises for your arms. And then when you strip the fat off, there's muscle definition left underneath. That's truly what's happening, right? So if I'm a woman, same thing. Let's say I'm like, okay, I wanna have abs, I wanna have a nice butt, I wanna have a toned back, I wanna have, maybe muscular shoulders or whatever it is. I wanna have good looking legs. Guys, that's all muscle. You train with weights to build the muscle, then you use the diet to strip the body fat off to then reveal what's underneath of it, which is the muscle. You don't get, and here's the thing is you don't get that if you don't also do the diet part. Okay? Now, the reason most people don't like diet is they do it wrong, right? The first 3 letters is D-I-E. It feels like you're dying when you do it. You don't want to die and you're like, oh, I missed the food. It doesn't need to be crazy. Just pay attention to your food portions. Pay attention to your food portions, pay attention to what's in the food you're eating, and I'm gonna give you a little life tip here. If it's sweet and good or creamy, don't eat it, right? If you got a bunch of mayonnaise in there, that's fat, guys. That's the most high calorie thing you could consume, which means very small portions contain very high calories, right? Me and my girl, we were eating some chocolates this past week, right? And we found out they had nuts in them, and we're like, oh, this is definitely healthier than ice cream, right? And then we looked and it was like, never mind, there's actually higher calories in 3 little pieces of chocolate than an entire ice cream bar. Right, now granted, we're doing healthy. The ice cream bar is like 100 calories, the chocolate's like 150 calories. But we were both surprised that if you go on portion size, sometimes to the naked eye, this little tiny bit of food seems like, oh, because it was a smaller mass, like smaller volume of food, it's not as much calories. Not always true. Okay, if it's got fat, if it's got nuts, butter, avocado, cream, any of these things that have high fat content, you're eating more calories. Okay, and the part that sucks is if you're a foodie like I am, that means you get to eat less quantity of food because the calorie quality of that food was higher. I want more quantity. Like I want to eat, several meals throughout the day. So what does that mean? It means that I avoid high fat foods. Okay, if I eat beef, it's gonna be lean ground beef. If I'm gonna eat meat, it's gonna be chicken or turkey. You know, I avoid bacon, I avoid, you know, once in a while I'll have steak or a burger or something, but again, that's once in a while. Like yesterday, I had turkey meatballs, super lean, like almost no fat in turkey meatballs. So I was able to eat that. I was able to eat my dinner, which I had meatballs again, ironically, and spaghetti. Like these are not diet where I'm like, I feel like I'm suffering. Okay, and then the final thing I wanna talk about is portion control. Okay, this is specifically for those of you that, you know, you maybe eat with your partner, with your spouse, or maybe you eat with your friends, or you have a workout buddy you're eating with. Your calories and their calories aren't the same, right? So I would have this tendency that I would notice when I would eat certain foods with certain people, I would be like, okay, they're eating that much, I can too. No, our bodies are different, right? Especially if you're a female. I wanna just give you this helpful tip. You cannot eat as much food as your husband. You will start to look like your husband if you eat as much food as your husband, right? So if you guys are at the restaurant and you've got dessert and you're less than half your husband's size, you should eat less than half of the dessert. Or you would like to be less than half your husband's size, you need to eat less than half of the dessert. Just look at the proportion of what you want your body to look like versus their body. And then you look at, okay, well, that's about the proportion of food I should be eating in comparison to what they eat. Right? Now, the flaw in this model is if your husband is obese, right, and eating way more than he should in the first place, then you probably want to eat like an eighth, right? Because that's way more food than he should have in the first place. But this is one where it's like, you know, you both order dessert and it's like, I had my dessert, they had their dessert, we both ate all of our dessert. Guys, that dessert was like 1,100 calories. Okay, the average human being needs a daily calorie allotment of like 2,000. So you just ate more than 50% of your calories on one item. And if you eat much more the rest of the day and you do that enough days in the week, you're gonna start gaining the weight back, right? So really, really, really pay attention to proteins, carbs, and fats. Understand that. Protein is the building block of muscle. I want a lot of that in my foods. Okay, carbohydrates, that turns into glucose in my muscles. It gives me fuel and energy. I want a lot of that. Fats are good, right? But also, they're high calories. If I'm trying to lose weight, I should limit the fats. I don't need to cut them out, but I should limit them. Right? And as long as I do that, as long as I go to the gym every day, as long as I maintain consistency, okay, you're looking for progress, not perfection. Okay, for me, when I do it for myself, I'm looking for perfection. And that's because I've competed at the highest level. That's like the expectation I have for myself. If you're like, hey, I just wanna look good and feel better, you don't need to do what Jerry Fetta does. You need to do like maybe 75 to 80% of what Jerry Fetta does, right? But you need to do something consistently. And it needs to involve daily exercise. Okay, work out with weights at least 4 times a week. Do something with cardio at least 2 times a week. That gives you 1 day of rest and recovery if you need that. And then just pay attention to your foods. Okay, monitor your portions. Monitor what's in there. How much fat, how much protein, how much carbs. What am I eating in comparison to maybe my workout buddy or my friends or my partners based on what I want to weigh versus what they currently weigh. Those are just good indicators. Now, the last thing I want to give you as something to help you is a supplement that I take that helps me build muscle mass. Right, this works for you if you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter, okay? This is called creatine. So creatine gives your muscles strength and endurance when you're working out with weights. The more strength and endurance you have, the faster you're going to be able to build muscle. Creatine also aids in speeding up recovery. And so I take 5 grams of creatine daily after my workout with some protein powder. And so for me, that gives me muscle mass. Now, if you're a guy and you're like listening to this, creatine is not steroids. You're not suddenly gonna look like, you know, Mr. Olympia. You actually have to go take steroids to do that. And so that's not creatine. Creatine is gonna make you, you know, slightly better than you would be without it. Okay, for me, I'm all about that slight difference. If you add up enough of those slight differences, whether it's good or bad, that's what makes or breaks your progress. Enough slight differences in the wrong direction, I'm out of shape. Enough slight differences in the right direction, I look exactly how I wanna look. Okay, if you're a female, same thing. Creatine is not a hormone. You're not gonna look like a dude. And I want girls to break out of this mindset. If you want to look amazing, go to the weight room. Okay, you're doing Pilates is not gonna do it. Doing, you know, dance classes on your Xbox is not gonna do it. Walking on the track all day, every day is not gonna do it. You need to go pick up some weights. You need to build some muscle and then control the diet like we talked about today to strip the fat down so you look the way you wanna look. Okay, it's very easy, very fast, but check this out, the creatine. You can get this at First Form. I'm a First Form Legionnaire. So if you're interested in getting this, you can click on the link in the description. Check out the creatine monohydrate product. It's very inexpensive for the portions. It's gonna last you a long time. I've had the same bottle for like 3 months now. So check that out, add that in. With creatine, drink a lot of water, which you should do anyways, but drink even more water. That's all I've got for you today. I hope this was helpful. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'll talk to you next time.